Hello and ni hao from the beautiful Wuxi city. I promise you to let you know when I get new information about Li Ziqi. 2 days ago, the Chinese internet basically exploded with good news about Li Ziqi. Yes, China loves her too. In this video, I will show you what new things she is doing now, talk about her plans for the future, and show you her new video statement from end of last week with her good news and her personal message to all of you, her loyal fans. If you don't know her, basically because you lived somewhere under the stone for the last century or so, Li Ziqi is the most popular social media creator from China. Known for her wonderful videos about traditional Chinese rural life, she shares stories about cooking, crafting, and countryside living, which make people feel peacefully and happy. Through her videos, Li Ziqi helps people around the world to appreciate the beauty of nature and old traditions. Lots of us were emotionally reminded of our own long gone past simple life, or simply blown away by the natural beauty in her videos. But 2022, she suddenly stopped uploading videos and basically disappeared, more or less till September 2023, due to developments in her life. Ever since then, millions of people all around the world are missing her. Can't explain it now, but it is really a heart-wrenching story, and I made another video about her whole story. You can find the link to it in the video description under this video. But now, without further ado, exclusively for you true fans of her, I proudly present her new public statement and let herself tell you what
都有很多很好的非物质文化遗产就是在消失。
Okay, I'm not a professional translator, but let me try to tell you what she says. It is true that there are many good intangible cultural heritages that are disappearing, basically on a daily basis.
就像曾经我去学那个木活字印刷呀，东元的那个木活字。
Just before, I went to learn the craft of wooden movable type printing. The wooden movable type of that in Dongyuan, that's in Zhejiang province.
他真正意义上会操作那门手艺的，就是他们那一门非遗的，只有2个人了。
In the true sense, those who can operate that craft are outstandingly skilled. There are only 2 people left who teach this intangible cultural heritage.
因为要么就是可能年纪大了，手眼不太稳了，就不能做了；要么就是年轻人坐不住，学就静不下心去学。
Because others are either too old and their skills are not stable enough anymore to do it, or the young people can't sit still and can't calm down to learn.
所以我那一次去了完之后，蛮受震撼的。
So after I went there that time, I was quite shocked.
那个时候我就形容我说，很多非遗文化，它像极了一个垂暮的老者，很多时候就是他很无奈。
At that time, I described a lot of intangible cultural heritage as being like an old man in his twilight years. Many times, he was left helpless.
他站在那个历史的长河，他在不断的回望，就是那种无力感。
Standing in the long river of history, he was constantly looking back on one's great times, feeling that powerlessness.
所以他需要被很多人看见，需要被很多人关注。所以这也是为什么后来我可能把更多的精力都有转移到这个非物质文化遗产上面来。
抖音。
So it needs to be seen and paid attention to by many people. So this is why later I may transfer more energy into this intangible cultural heritage. Okay, what does all this mean? What's next for Li Ziqi? Short answer, still undecided and a bit unclear. And now the long answer. Over the weekend I spent hours on WeChat, Sina, Weibo, Baidu and Douyin, the Chinese TikTok, trying to find reliable information about what has happened since her social media channels were shut down and what's next. As you can imagine, it wasn't that easy, as the rumor mill is churning like crazy. Therefore, please take this information with a grain of salt. Here's an overview. As early as July 2022, when her last video to date was uploaded to YouTube, the situation with the multi-channel network company had allegedly escalated, making her life almost unbearable. What happened? While she worked incredibly hard, practically day and night on her innocent, idyllic videos, and besides that had to deal with internet trolls and stalkers, this company took over the marketing of her previously very good name. And, well, that went terribly wrong. She had very naively signed contracts with this company that were very unfavorable for her. She had virtually no rights to her own name as trademark anymore, and profits from her videos and the use of her name allegedly mostly went into the pockets of this company and its CEO, rather than to Li Ziqi. But it got worse. The company used her fame to partner with another company to distribute millions of dollars worth of food under her name on a large scale. She herself was not being involved, nor had any influence over this business. As a result, she obviously only received a very small fraction of the profit. And what was even worse, apparently there were increasing quality problems, including problems with hygiene of these foods. The subsequent public criticism from dissatisfied customers consistently put herself as well as her name in a bad light, even though she had no influence over these products whatsoever. But all was done on her neck, and it was her name that was on it. A direct agreement with this company failed, so she risked everything and went to court. A picture that shows her writing a police report against this company was the last thing she published on social media for a long time on August 30th, 2022. And I didn't know until now it was a nerve-wracking and lengthy, tough, expensive legal battle in court with an uncertain outcome, which had apparently been going on even since 2021 already. And she literally risked everything she owned to get her justice. In late December 2022, the parties finally reached an agreement and she received a much fairer share as well as retrieving the rights to her name. At that time, she also spoke out against the over-commercialization of her name and her work as a content creator. Because even though she became a millionaire several times over, thanks to the admittingly rather unfortunate marketing of her name, she never chased after money or was selfish in any way. She made her videos out of dedication. Her mission and passion was and is to show us the Chinese traditional, simple country life and make it appealing to us, because it is really important to her to promote this kind of simple life. In China too, the major trend of urbanization has long been the norm now. There are more opportunities for better income, education, and a more modern life within the country's cities than throughout the small villages. Here as well, farmers are competing with a global competition, and the unbelievable low global producer prices make it incredibly difficult for ordinary people to survive financially on small scale conventional farming. The only really competitive people here are large farmers with huge machines and seemingly endless fields, or possibly creative entrepreneurs who specialize in niche markets such as new exotic produce or nature products or ways to connect organic farming with progressive online marketing and ideas like that. But that's all not doable without bigger risks and certain difficulties. So the lifestyle presented in Li Ziqi's videos is basically only possible for people with large savings, fit retirees who get a secure monthly pension, or very frugal people who forego all luxuries. Earning money is easier in the cities. That's a fact. And it can mostly be done without the backbreaking, hard physical work of a small farmer. As a result, many small villages are only inhabited by senior citizens and maybe a few children, as most people of working age move to the cities to earn their living. It's a really sad picture. Li Ziqi simply wants to set an example against this trend. In her videos, she paints a beautiful picture of this natural and simple life in the country. And her heart's desire is simply to make country life attractive again for young people in order to simply revitalize rural areas. Unfortunately, during her forced absence from social media, many new imitators, copycats, as well as original creators with new good content had established themselves in her follow niche, some with great success. And she also suffered from the unpleasant dealings with the failed food products business, for which she unfairly lost a lot of reputation. As a result, she simply couldn't continue where she left off. In September 2023, she took on the role of official ambassador for the China Association of Young Rural Entrepreneurial Leaders, a youth organization that promotes entrepreneurship among young people in rural areas. And on September 16th of last year, she finally publicly announced her long awaited return to the spotlight in this capacity. I thought that was wonderful, and in anticipation, I immediately made this first video here about her planned comeback to tell you this beautiful news. And then, well, at first, nothing happened anymore. Nevertheless, if you want to know more about her life, the link to that video is below in the video description. Then, on Douyin, the Chinese TikTok, she was a guest of honor at their big 2023 Douyin Wonderful Night Festival in October last year. But she only had multiple seconds long appearances in a 4 hours video that was shown. A little too little to honor her fantastic work and to show her previous online identity at the festival. But that might be because she never chose Douyin as her main online platform. Anyway, Douyin is now paying her to come to Douyin and put her videos there too. I linked the video in the description below if you want to see it for yourself. But spoiler, it's 4 hours long and you can only see her for several seconds. On the one hand, as much as I'm sad about it, I'm afraid that Li Ziqi will not continue with the usual farming, crafting, cooking videos for the time being. Although it is not impossible that this will happen at some point again, and I'm terribly sorry for the bad news. Don't kill the messenger. On the other hand, it's also wonderful if she doesn't stay stuck in this niche forever, but can also grow and develop through some reorientation. Of course, many are extremely impatient and miss her, but knowing her, we also have to be patient. It's not easy for her either to find her new niche and build something new totally from the scratch. And she's a perfectionist. That also was a reason why her videos were so good in the first place. She doesn't just spout off something half-heartedly. She simply takes the time necessary to do what she does as well as possible. I'm sure she's working on something big and beautiful right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Since announcing her comeback, she has been traveling a lot in China to experience old regional traditional arts, old artisan crafts, and a lot of traditional handicrafts up close directly from the old masters and to learn some of them by herself. So she didn't lie idle, but is working hard again. And I hold the opinion that by promoting these ancient skills in order to save them from extinction, she is making a very important contribution to the preservation of this wonderful intangible cultural heritage. And additional found a wonderful new challenging thing to do. We live worldwide in a fast-moving time of globalization, urbanization, consumerism, and industrialization. There is hardly any time for old values. Interest dwindles, and the old knowledge slowly but surely dies out. What remains is an international urban uniformity full of short-term, globally identical industrial products without any regional peculiarities, local culture, traditional knowledge, or old skills of the people living there. Just shallow. That's why we need people like Li Ziqi to remind us of these old values and, in the best case, to encourage young people to continue this wonderful work of the elders and to protect those arts and crafts of culture from extinction and oblivion. The great thing is that this then draws a link back to the simple life in the country as an alternative to city life, as shown in her videos. And also draws a link back to her work as an ambassador for young entrepreneurs in rural areas. Because even if you can unfortunately hardly make a living solely from a small farm, all traditional handcrafts offer wonderful opportunities to lead a relatively tranquil traditional life in the village without going hungry. First and foremost, one needs technical skills. And, in contrast to the millions invested in modern industrial companies, only a relatively manageable number of simple devices and materials. In addition, stressed and well-heeled city dwellers have been coming to the countryside for years, and resourceful small farmers have been offering simple overnight accommodation and homegrown food for little money in rustic makeshift restaurants, often within their own homes. Local traditional handicrafts would be a wonderful addition here and would certainly find plenty of buyers. In addition, those crafts would be produced naturally on site in a domestic setting without spoiling the beautiful natural surroundings with ugly factory buildings or poisoning the environment with modern chemicals. Ideal as a side income for small farmers, but also great for creative young entrepreneurs. Over time, a wonderful little ecosystem of organic farming, hospitality, and accommodation, nature, traditional arts, and old natural ways of life could emerge that provides everyone involved with everything they need. Therefore, I wish Li Ziqi the muse good luck and the stamina to successfully implement her plans. And I wish us all a lot of patience and anticipation of what may come from her in the future. And I'm really excited to see how it develops further. Of course, I will continue to keep you updated once there is anything interesting to report again. If you don't want to miss this, please subscribe to my tiny channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye and 再见, your LaoMa in China.